The end was not as he had foreseen. The Jedi Temple, a beacon of light for 1,000 generations, was a tomb. The air, once thrumming with the serene energy of the living force, was thick with smoke, the echoes of blaster fire, and the deafening silence of 10,000 murdered younglings. Master Yoda, the greatest Jedi of his age, had failed. He had faced the Sith Lord and been defeated. The Republic was ashes. The Jedi Order was extinct. His escape from Coruscant was a fugitive's flight, a bitter taste of shame and grief. As his shuttle hurtled towards the remote and forgotten world of Dagobah, Yoda did not meditate on the future. He meditated on the past, on every decision, every moment of pride, every instance of blindness that had led them to this cataclysm. The weight of his 900 years pressed down on him, not with wisdom, but with an unbearable burden of failure. And then, the Force shifted. It was not a gentle nudge. It was a cosmic convulsion. As his ship pierced the murky atmosphere of Dagobah, the swirling vortex of the planet's dark side nexus, already a strange and powerful wound in the Force, interacted with Yoda's immense, despairing presence. Time itself, stretched taut around him, snapped. He felt not a descent, but a violent, silent compression, a sensation of being pulled through a singularity, a tunnel of screaming light and memory. He saw it all: the rise of the Empire, the Clone Wars, the fall of Anakin, the hubris of the Jedi, unspooling in reverse. The pain was not lessened, it was amplified. Each failure, each murdered Padawan, each scream of a Jedi he had led to their doom, echoing in a single, simultaneous moment of absolute torment, and then silence. Not the silence of a swamp, but the deafening, sterile silence of the Jedi Council chamber on Coruscant. Yoda's eyes snapped open. He was not in his crash-landed shuttle. He was seated in his familiar chair. The soft glow of Coruscant's traffic streamed through the vast windows. Before him sat Mace Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Plo Koon, and the rest of the Council. They were all younger, unlined by the grief of a galaxy-wide war. Too old to begin the training, his own voice was saying. He recognized the moment. It was the day Qui-Gon Jinn had brought the young Anakin Skywalker before them. A profound disorientation threatened to overwhelm him. This was not a vision. The cool air of the chamber, the feel of his Geimer stick in his hand, the living force presences of his long-dead colleagues. It was all terrifyingly, impossibly real. He had not died. He had been returned. Qui-Gon was arguing passionately. He is the chosen one. You must see it. Yoda's mind, ancient and weary, raced faster than it had in centuries. He saw the boy, not with the Council's detached judgment, but with the devastating hindsight of a lifetime. He saw the seeds of Vader in the fearful, desperate need in Anakin's eyes. He saw the hubris in their own rejection. He saw the ghost of the burning temple superimposed over the boy's small form. My failure, this is, he thought, the shame of physical ache. But a second chance given to me? The Force has. Mace Windu spoke. We do not doubt the midichlorian Count, Qui-Gon. We doubt his emotional readiness. He is fearful. The old Yoda would have agreed. The new Yoda, the one who had seen the galactic scale consequences of that fear, acted. A point Master Windu has, Yoda said, his voice quiet but cutting through the debate. All eyes turned to him. Fearful the boy is. But in his fear, a truth we find. A slave he was. His mother, left behind in bondage, she is. He paused, letting the uncomfortable truth settle on the Council. They had been so focused on the boy's age, they had ignored his pain. To free others from chains, the chosen one's destiny may be. But in chains of his own, he still remains. To break them, he must first learn how. The Council was silent, stunned by Yoda's uncharacteristic focus on the emotional, the personal. Propose what, do you, Master Yoda? Mace asked, his brow furrowed. Yoda took a breath that felt like his first in decades. Take the boy as my personal Padawan, I will. A wave of shock rippled through the chamber. The Grand Master of the Jedi Order had not taken a personal apprentice in centuries. Master Yoda, is that wise? Ki-Adi-Mundi ventured. Your duties to the Council, the boy's instability. My duty, the future of this order is, Yoda said, a rare flash of steel in his voice. It was the voice of a general who had seen the abyss. A grave error we are on the verge of making. See it, I can. Guide him, I must, not just for his sake, for all our sakes. The authority in his tone was absolute. The council, bewildered, acquiesced. Anakin's training began not in the classroom, but in the healing halls of the temple. Yoda's first act was not to teach him how to levitate a rock, but to sit with him as the temple's mind healers helped the boy process the trauma of his slavery, his separation from his mother, his fear of loss. Yoda, the survivor of a dark future, understood that the dark side was not fought with lightsabers, but with compassion for one's own pain. He then did the unthinkable. He quietly dispatched a team of Jedi Shadows, not to wage war, but on a mission of mercy, to find Shmi Skywalker and free her, relocating her to a safe, comfortable life on a peaceful agricultural world in the Mid-Rim. He presented this to Anakin not as a reward, but as a lesson in closure and compassion. Let go of your fear to lose her. You cannot, Yoda told the weeping boy. But ensure she is safe and happy, you can. This is the true way to love, to wish for another's freedom, not your own possession of them. The lesson was profound. A colossal weight lifted from Anakin's small shoulders. The festering fear that would have poisoned him for a decade was, if not eliminated, drastically mitigated. Yoda's teachings were different. He did not champion the old rigid dogma. He taught Anakin that emotions were not enemies to be destroyed, but weather to be understood and navigated. A storm your fear is, he would say. Shelter from it a Jedi does not seek. Learn to stand in the rain without drowning. He must. When the Naboo crisis occurred, Yoda did not remain on Coruscant. He went with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. On Tatooine, he met the young Anakin and saw the fierce, good heart within him. He also felt the faint, slithering presence of the Sith Lord for the first time, a presence he now recognized with cold certainty. On Naboo, when Darth Maul revealed himself, it was not just Qui-Gon who faced him. Yoda, moving with a speed that belied his centuries, intervened. The duel was not a contest of youthful agility, but a clash of fundamental power. Maul was a deadly weapon, but Yoda was a force of nature. He disarmed the Sith with contemptuous ease, not killing him, but capturing him. A living Sith was a treasure trove of information. The return to Coruscant was triumphant, but Yoda's work was just beginning. With Maul in a maximum security force cell, the evidence of the Sith's return was irrefutable. The Council was thrown into an uproar, but Yoda provided steely, unshakable leadership. He spoke of a coming shadow, of a plot within the Republic itself, and began a quiet, meticulous investigation that focused on the political sphere, particularly the rise of the charismatic Senator Palpatine. Anakin, raised without the same crushing weight of fear and rejection, grew into a different man. He was still powerful, still passionate, but he was centered. He understood his emotions instead of being ruled by them. His friendship with Padme Amidala blossomed, but it was healthier, built on mutual respect rather than a desperate, obsessive need. He confided in Yoda about his love for her, and Yoda, remembering the catastrophic consequences of forbidding it, offered guidance instead of condemnation. A path of great difficulty you choose, he said, but conceal it. You must not, for secrets the dark side feeds on. The Clone Wars never began. The investigation into the Sith, guided by Yoda's future knowledge and Maul's fragmented revelations, uncovered the connections between Sidious, Count Dooku, and the mysterious creation of the clone army on Kamino. The threat was exposed to the Senate in a stunning coup, a masterstroke of political and Jedi coordination orchestrated by Yoda. The galaxy was thrown into a constitutional crisis, but not a war. The Separatist movement, stripped of its Sith leadership, fractured and was negotiated with. The clone army, a weapon built for a war that never started, was decommissioned. The man who emerged from this changed timeline was not Darth Vader. It was Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Knight, a hero of the Republic who had helped avert a galactic war. He married Padme in a public ceremony, a symbol of a new, more emotionally integrated Jedi Order that Yoda was slowly, carefully reforming. Yoda never told a soul of his journey from the future. He bore the knowledge of that terrible timeline alone, a silent, somber watchman who had been granted the rarest of gifts, the chance to mend the cracks in the foundation before the entire temple fell. He had not just trained the Chosen One, he had finally understood him, and in doing so, he had not just saved Anakin Skywalker, he had saved the soul of the Jedi Order itself. The future was no longer written in fire and blood, it was a blank page, and for the first time in a long time, it was filled with light.